and welcome back to the LARP News Podcast. It's Christmas!
It's Christmas!
It's legit. And,
humbug.
It is Christmas, it is holidays, however you celebrate the end of the year. We are here. We have not got a wood fire right next to us. Me and Ian are shivering away in our houses.
Yeah. I have my little Fagin gloves on and my dressing gown. To be fair, though, though people who know me will know that is normal Ian garb. I go very few places without a dressing gown and some slippers.
Oh my God, it's such a vibe. It's so nice to be back recording with you guys. We haven't touched a recording session since
a while. Right? I mean, we did.
I think E4 was our last one.
Yeah.
Woof. Welcome back. Yeah. A lot's happened since. A lot has changed on the podcast since you guys were here last. Welcome back.
And well, I mean, the whole we've done the whole stream that was, I thought, extremely successful. Everyone was amazingly generous.
Yeah, thank you so much to everyone that donated. We, as it stands, so we're recording this on the 20th of December. Our current total, which will not be the same by the time we release this, is just over £2,000.
Outrageous. So
which
good.
I had a little cry in the office today because everybody's been so kind and so generous. So thank you so much. We're going to make such a difference for Young Lives versus Cancer. You know, a donation of £60 helps a family get a hotel room for the night while their loved ones are staying in hospital. So just divide 2,000 by 60 and you've got how many days we have paid. And it just, oh my God, I just thank you so much to everyone who's donated prizes, everyone that's donated money, people that just hung around on the stream and have been so supportive. So thank you so much.
Yeah, I mean, I think I tapped out at 4 a.m. on the stream. So hats off to you, Millie, for doing the whole thing.
Millie was outrageous. I was the lightweight here. I was the absolute lightweight here. I did very very
work?
Little. I know, but still,
you had real people things to do.
Well, I wish I could have been with all of you because it looked like so much fun. The D&D was incredible,
amazing. Thank you so much, Morgan, and the LARPs and TARPs crew for doing that. So good.
Great play.
I managed to catch like snippets of things later on as sort of the evening was progressing. I loved all the different sort of segments where people came on, and then I caught a bit of you guys all gaming as well. Really good, like it was one of those kind of great things, and I think that's what's great about this whole drive since way back when Dave started it years ago. This kind of yearly drive that we do, it's been really heartening to see how the LARP community kind of comes together and really helps, genuinely do things that change people's lives. It means so much.
And it was really nice to get to know Robin and Oliver from To Having to Roll a little bit better, Heather and Mill from LARPing my arse off. Just everyone that came on. Oh my God, I love you all so much. I'm not going to talk about it anymore because I'm going to start crying. But but yeah, it was fun. It was an amazing stream. I think I'm going to try and do one yearly.
Wow.
Maybe 2 yearly.
Ooh.
Who knows?
Okay.
I wanna do more for charity, so it might not be a regular raffle thing, but we'll never know. We'll see. That's a 2025 Millie problem. But that's not what we're here for. We're doing a bit of a Q&A. We're doing a look back on our year at LARP.
Yeah.
And then we'll do a little bit of a look forward and a see what we want to do. So, what do you guys want to do? Do you want to start with questions? Do you want to talk a little bit about what LARPs you did this year?
I mean, we could just, because quite a few of the questions do touch, I think, on things, and we'll reveal stuff as we go along. So we could just jump into questions. There are a fair few to go through.
There are. We have opened up our Discord. So we have a lovely little Discord community growing. So feel free to join that. There'll be links in our Facebook page. And also just our regular Facebook comments. And you guys came out and in your droves and asked us some very serious, very professional questions, which we can't wait to answer. Why don't you kick us off, Bung? You choose first.
Well, let's start off with the most serious of all the questions we got asked from our good friend Tom of Larps and Tarps.
Uh-huh.
Can you tell the difference between butter and I can't believe it's not butter?
No.
I actually can. But that's because I was raised on proper butter and then moved over to stuff like margarine and fake spreads. And it's like, oh, I can tell the difference when it's not butter.
Yeah, Tom, unfortunately, Bung is a dairy connoisseur.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I always find the key to unlocking the difference between the two is what they do at high temperature, right? Like margarine isn't spreading on toast the same as butter.
I just said and realised that I don't know what I'm talking about. I am extremely uncultured in all things. Well, I was going to say all things culinary. Let's just say it as it is in all things. And I do not believe I would be a reliable source of telling you what the difference was. So, yeah.
Well, I hope that answers your question, Tom, and I hope that you have it has not coloured your opinion of us at all. Let's carry on doing Tom's other questions. So, at your wedding, would it be a sit-down meal or a buffet?
Well, I have had a wedding. And,
oh my God, hot goss.
Wow. So it was indeed a sit-down meal. And then a buffet afterwards, because why limit yourself to but one when you can have both? Both is always the correct option.
Both
as with the mean.
is good. Yeah.
I have also had a wedding. At the wedding, we had a buffet.
Nice.
We got ours. There's a small Italian delicatessen in Cambridge called Limoncello.
Oh.
And they do catering packages.
Other catering vendors are available.
Are available, but this is who we use.
Yeah.
And basically, we got a massive platter done by them. So it was like a selection of their sort of sandwiches and loads of other sort of antipasti and stuff like that. So
nice.
Quite a massive, large spread of Italian food.
Nice. I have not had a wedding yet, but I feel like, and I can already hear Dave impersonating my dad as I say this. My dad wouldn't want to do a speech over a buffet, which sounds, now that I've said it, sounds way posher than I mean. But, you know, like my dad loves giving a speech and he loves telling a story because he's a Scotsman.
Oh, nice.
So he wouldn't he wouldn't know what to do unless other people were sitting. So I think we need to do it. But I do love when you're really drunk at a wedding, just sauntering on over to the buffet table and grabbing those all important salty snacks to try and sober yourself up. I think Ian unlocked the true key to a good wedding with the double.
That's definitely the best way to
double
do it.
down. Double down, kids. It's the way to go. All right, like there's opportunities to come in. Like we were very, very fortunate. As Safe was super organised. We had like all sorts of things. We had a little ice cream thing that they went and brought upstairs, and there was some extremely difficult logistics of trying to get that. We were very old building. It was really, really nice. We were very, very fortunate.
Aw, young love.
Oh, yeah.
Next question. And the last one from our good friend Tom of the House Bamford. If a celebrity was to play your Empire character in a film, who would you pick to play you?
For me, if we're going off how I look, it'd probably have to be Brian Blessed.
Oh no! Now I can't unsee that, Bung.
Yeah,
I
like it.
Like, especially now I'm growing the full beard in.
Yeah.
Just imagine Brian Blessed with those giant antlers on.
Are you talking for your current character though, like, or are you talking for Gaius?
I think for the current character, for Gwythian, especially with the full beard.
Yeah.
Brian Blessed with those horns, shouting about how angry he is that everything's too short.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. But what about for Gaius though, just out of interest, because I think he is a different temperament, right? Of character.
Oh, that's a good one. Ooh. Well, I think he would be Tallis.
So I reckon Tom Hiddleston would be really good.
Oh, I could see that.
He would absolutely chew up the role of Tallis. He would be a better Tallis than me. I think he kind of has the range, I think, to do all the different things that Talos is about, because he has that whole kind of I think like with like Loki and stuff, if you watch that, but he's done loads of different amazing roles. He's an incredible actor, actually. But like I think that kind of range of like the cheekiness and the sort of very emotional stuff he would do very well.
And he's a great dancer.
Yes, I am not, but he would. I think he would be like the Ian fantasy version of what Talos is like. He would do that really well.
It's like, would you want them to play your character true to form, as in like true to Ian, trying to be Talos, like being Talos, or would you rather it be like Talos in his full color scheme? Like
this is like this. I mean, we live in the fantasy, so yeah. This is the uber fantasy hyper reality version. I'm Tom Hiddleston, and it's fucking glam as fuck.
Yeah,
bubbles everywhere.
Yeah,
everybody's loving it, and it's.
I
amazing.
can see that.
How about yourself?
So I think I would really like to be, and I'm going to say what I want it to be and what I think it would be. And I think I would love to be Florence Pugh. Like Florence Pugh.
Florence Pugh's a great choice.
I reckon she could really pull off a set of antlers. And I think that she could make a really good Agni with the whole like. I think that would be quite good. In reality, I'm an Amy Poehler from Parks and Rec. With the kind of like the like hyper focus, like really like I'm really organized. I've just got all the binders for everything.
Like, it's not like Florence Pugh couldn't do that.
No,
like, she could do both, right?
But like, I think also as well with my little like angry changeling and angry Kedweni at Northern Kingdoms. There are some really funny scenes where Amy Poehler is getting really angry in Parks and Rec, and I just can't unsee that. I'm like, that's me.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Well, come on, Bung. Let us know.
I'm trying to think. With Keys, it'd have to be pretty stoic.
Yeah.
What about like a Gerard Butler? I think he's literally when you said stoic, and he did play stoic in How to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah.
But I think he'd be quite good for a little Gaius. Yeah. You want a good little drunkle, don't you?
Yeah. I mean, someone like, again, probably going to Parks and Rec here, Nick Offerman.
Oh my God.
That's not a bad choice at all, actually. Yeah, that's actually a really good choice.
I can imagine that, like, because especially with you sitting around the campfire, like all of the shenanigans going on between Agni and Talos, and then Nick Offerman just being like, I hate these people.
Yeah. Just camera cuts to him. It's just like, so unimpressed. Like,
loves and cares for the people very close to him, but everyone else can just go fuck off.
And
fuck the government.
And really good whiskey taste.
Yep, I do agree that Lagavulin is probably one of the better.
That's a really good choice.
That's a good one. Okay, next question, Ian.
You choose who from?
Well, I'm going to start at the top. So
whoa!
Behind the curtain, I've got a little list here. So I'm going to go with Daniel Wild, who has come in with a four questions.
Oh yeah.
So we will start with proudest LARP achievement of the year.
Whoa! You go first, Bung. Shotgun knot.
Are we specifying it has to be in LARP as well? Like because I think it would be easy to say obviously things like the stream and the obviously everything that you've been doing with that is like that makes me immensely proud. But I dude. I mean, like I'm proud of. That's incredible. But like,
I think yes, definitely just LARP moments before we go down the road of complimenting again. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. I think this is going to sound really silly.
No such thing as a silly answer.
Well, with Oasis 2, the whole thing was it was a very schlocky B movie thing we were filming. The amount of times I managed to get my boom into shot, not knowing where the camera lens was actually pointing, I'm very proud of that.
It was
watching the video back and it's like, oh, there's the boom mic. And there's another scene where I can clearly just see myself pop out from behind the shed, then tuck back in.
It was
just
so
like,
good.
yes, this is pure schlock, and I fucking loved it.
I loved
actually
it.
being able, and like, it's like, yeah, I'm a professional here.
Yeah. To be fair, out of all of the crew members, you were the most present. Like, you were always. I fucked off for most of the shooting. I was like, there's no explosions in this. I'm leaving.
Yeah, I had to be at every scene because I was the sound man.
That's true.
That's
So I had to be at every recording session. I had to be there.
Department of one.
Yeah, basically, I was supposed to be the main sound engineer, but obviously, with everything getting lost and half the cast and crew going missing, I'm now working boom and sound and everything. So I'm like,
It's so good.
And standing with your arms up like that for a shoot.
Yeah, it hurts, right?
Oh, it's knackering.
Yeah.
So I was very grateful for the one where I was behind the shed. I just rested my arms on the shed for a bit.
Nice. How did you? Because Oasis 2 was kind of like one of those LARPs that, like, because we're used to sort of action, kind of lots of fighty LARPs. How was Oasis 2 for you?
I really enjoyed it. It was nice to be. It was more just a play act to LARP rather than. I mean, there was a lot of action at the end of it, and little bouts of action where like we're being stormed by the Spanish guerrillas, we'll say. So yeah, there was those little bouts of action, but then it was more just like, okay, now I'm just acting and having fun that way, and
it was a really good like RP LARP, wasn't
having Orion playing my brother and just having random interaction scenes with him was very fun.
Nice.
And just sort of having a bit of a dick around with it was a great laugh.
Yeah.
And being Remy Dupont.
It was so good. So good.
So jealous of you guys to go to that. It sounds so good. So good.
I'm hoping that like, I know that it's a difficult one to write for, but I'm hoping there would be another one because it is fun doing work as a LARP. It was really cathartic. Yeah. What about you, Ian?
I think it's difficult to top the 2-year anniversary of the fashion show because everything that is. I mean, Demelza does all of the work for it, and I just kind of turn up and dance about of it. But it's just seeing just the effort that everyone goes to with, and just the oh man, just the collection of people. Like, to have a massive crowd like that and stuff is so magical. It's incredible. And the other thing probably be, again, which has... I did pretty much nothing apart from watch, but to see the play performed is outrageous. Is like, I mean, to watch yourself being acted out in a stage play in front of like loads of people. It was so amazing. I was like, oh my god!
To watch as well.
Having Justin's character at the front row was,
it was
so good.
So good.
Having, like, when they were describing the archetypical kind of like Navari captain, and then Chris Anson walks past and like, oh, that guy. And like,
oh my god, it was so good.
and then, oh my gosh, it was so good.
So good.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I had a really nice year of just being like, yes, I've done it. Like, Talis is like, really is like a figure in the nation now, and I'm so happy.
Yeah, I'm so excited for next year. I think Empire next year is going to be really interesting.
There's lots of interesting stuff. Yeah.
It's going to be. So there was lots. We did the little murder, the Moida. Then weirdly, like, Bastion, I think, was one of my like proudest moments because it was one that I was most scared about. Because zombies are one of my biggest, like, it's weird because I know that there's no such thing as zombies, but they're still one of my, like, same as werewolves and zombies. I do not want to do anything about those. But I think for me it was Eldritch. So we didn't do an episode for Eldritch. I might see if I can get something sorted for next year, but I have always had, and we've spoken about it a lot, anxiety towards close combat and LARP. And I still do when it comes to large scale fest LARPs like Empire and stuff, because it just gets a bit too hairy. But at Eldritch, I got into my first proper little LARP scuffle. And it was, there was a player getting cornered by a monster. There was lots of screaming. It was very dramatic. And my character, I was like, well, sod this. It's me or he's dead. And I charged in and I did what I thought was some of the coolest fighting I've ever done. And Sol from the Shattersong LARP Diaries confirmed that it did indeed look badass.
Amazing.
And if it came from them, then therefore it's true.
That's if Sol's telling you you've done well, you've done well.
Right. So and I had so much fun, and as soon as I'd done that, it was like something clicked in my brain, and I was like, oh, close combat LARP fighting isn't something that is as scary as I thought it was. And since then I have been just loving it, and so yeah, I think that was my proudest moment. It's definitely my biggest moment for growth anyway. But yeah, next little Daniel question.
Biggest WTF moment. LARP
Which
moment.
Sounds for what? The flipper.
Either seeing it or being part of it. Probably when Dragon Hunt. The wonderful Aaron Greyjoy just suddenly like pulls out this weird power and uses it on Melanie, and I was not. It was like a facet of the game I was just completely unaware of that existed, and all of a sudden like handed Matty like a piece of paper that had obviously a description of what the effects of this thing were. It was like an RP effect. It was so like unexpected, because the game was just pure kind of social political PvP essentially, and all of a sudden there was like, oh, there are like, because you kind of forget obviously Westeros is that kind of very kind of like low magic system, but then when the magic pops off, it's like super kooky and
pops.
Weird, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, to suddenly have like, oh, okay, there is like weird stuff going on. It was like really cool and unexpected, and I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
that was really cool.
That's good. I think for me, my biggest what the fuck moment was at Warriors of Middle Earth. And it was like, so it was the moment where I pickpocketed the Nazgul blade the Morgoth blade. And it was like, it wasn't like a what the fuck, it was a what the fuck did I just do? And I think that was my biggest, because I was like, oh shit, I've done it now. There's no going back. I have a Morgul blade. Right, so cool. Time to take this out of the fort. Yeah, so that was definitely mine. And I hope that there will be no consequences from that action whatsoever. What about you, Bung?
I'm trying to think, really. I mean, probably the fact that I didn't go a single summit at Empire this year without someone close to me dying.
Oof.
It's like we've been going to Empire for quite some time, and we've known people who have died here and there, but this year, like every event, like someone close to either my character or obviously Withian barely knew Agni, but I know Millie. So, but yeah, having Demarian die at E1, then Dave at E2, then myself at E3.
Yeah, man.
Then obviously the Agni, and obviously I think also E4 was the
that was that was
the
a big
doomed
one.
the Death in the Glade, wasn't it?
The Sweet Glade Massacre.
Yeah. So
woof.
Probably the fact that I think that's the most character death that of people I've been close to or known in 1 year. And that's probably been the most what the fuck. It's like, not this many people normally die here. So probably especially from an IC standpoint.
I mean, you had to do you were the master ceremonies for the Gellert's funeral, right? So there
yes,
was
so it was
a lot going on.
Yeah. OC, the big what the fuck moment, was discovering the person who fired the crossbow bolt that killed Keys.
Interesting.
Oh no, God! Oh dear. Who would fire a crossbow?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think he's from a certain group that had a bit of a grudge against Keys' wife, though.
Oh, maybe. Who knows? Who knows? What happens between? Oh God, who was it? Was it the? No, we did. It wasn't the Grendel we were fighting.
Druze.
It was the Druze.
Yeah. What happens between the Druze and the Navari? You know.
Yeah. So with having to do the comparing of the funeral, I was very happy that some Druze came up to me and said, "We'll throw your dead body to the lion so you can be put terminal."
Woof.
Like, great, because if I die behind the lines here, I can't come back terminal. Technically, I have to go straight creating a character. So very grateful for that. And getting to do the whole coughing up blood at the very end after getting the people to chant "Drink the Empire."
Yeah,
it was good.
That was a very fun moment.
Yeah, it was a good death. Gotta love a good death.
All right, and the last question from Daniel. Thank you so much, Daniel.
It's got two more.
Oh, you got two more.
Oh, sorry, two more. Sorry, LARP goals for 2025. Wow, more LARP, please.
More. I don't know how to answer this one because we're in that weird transitory. I don't think is the right word, but we are in that weird like precipice. I'm excited for next year because we've got new LARPs and new companies coming forward. So like we've got Men's Fate, obviously, which I'm really excited to learn more about and to figure it out as we go. There's to have know your role, which is Ian's and James and a few other people. So one of Bastion's game creators and one of Warriors of Middle Earth. They're teaming up for a new company, and I'm just excited.
There's a lot going on.
There is a lot.
Yeah, I mean, like looking at the calendar of LARPs and the quality of them, and then you've got all the stuff on the continent as well. I mean, it's just like trying to plot out my year because obviously I can only do a certain number.
Yeah,
it's very difficult. Like you're really having to like pick between some absolutely choice opportunities.
Yeah.
It's
going to be a good year for LARP, I think. I'm very excited about it. I think if I can save up the monies, I want to go to do the Disco Elysium. I want to do 97 Poets.
Yeah. Cool. Love to go.
I want to do it. I want to be traumatized.
Yeah, I would love to do a Euro LARP at some point, but I don't think 2025 is going to be my year for that.
No, I think 2026 maybe.
Disco Elysium it would be perfect. So I maybe do have to see if I'm trying to make it happen. But it's a challenge. The challenge of lots of things, but that would be one. For sure. Yeah.
What do you think, Ian? Have you got a specific goal, or are you just going to see where the world of LARP takes you?
Well, being that I'm part of the Menhirs team, that sort of opening part of that will be a big part of the year for me. So I want that obviously to go off well and try and do my best in that. It's been good fun being behind the scenes on the creative side. There's lots of exciting stuff developing there. So I'm pretty excited about it. Yeah, I've had good fun so far putting together my own kit.
It looks so good. I'm
good.
Especially that new, like if you want, we can share a little bit of test photos for some of the kit. I got some sewing patterns through to start my kit off this weekend, so I'm very excited.
Because are you Portavas?
No, I'm thinking Hammerstadt.
Oh, I think a lot of people are sleeping on Hammerstadt. Actually, I think it looks great.
I'm thinking I want to be like an like a dark academia, like big wool cloak with a like constellation type lining. I think it'd be quite good. That's fun. Yeah.
I like the whole kind of slightly gangland inventors kind of stuff.
Yeah, right.
Like I like a lot of that sort of stuff, like kind of Peaky Blinders mixed with like sort of city-statey kind of inventing stuff. I think is really fun.
Yeah,
like,
I think in fact, I think that might be my goal. I want to make more kit. I want to be more confident making something. I just want to make one nice bit of kit. So I'm going to aim to make one nice bit, and if it goes from there, that'd be great. I think that's my goal. Yeah. What about you, Bung?
To actually probably attend more than just Empire and one other.
That's
I think
fair.
last year I literally just did Empire and Oasis with the only LARPs I got to.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm really looking forward to Mendes Fate. The nations I'm going there is going to be the Dino Boys.
Driven.
Yeah. Really
fun. One of the main reasons is I haven't got the time or the money to set up a load of new kit, so I can recycle a fair bit of my Navari kit. I've also got some items which I've did buy to use with my Navari characters, but I've never used it there. Like,
you've also got all your stuff from Beyond Ragnarok as well, and some of that will transfer.
Yeah, a lot of my Beyond Ragnarok stuff is also
my
Navari kit.
Yeah.
So because it is quite natural tones and stuff like that. So, but I've also got the don't know if you guys remember Simwig's gigantic woolen
thing. Mantle.
I've got I bought that off him after Simwig passed, or was retired, however you want to put it. So I've got that. So I'm basically planning on attaching that onto a sleeveless faux suede jacket I've got that's got furs and bones attached to it already as well.
Nice.
So,
mate, that's going to look so good.
Oh, so I'm quite looking forward
I'm
to
going to be going Vortivass in styling anyway. That's where I'm trying and drawing in inspiration. But I'm modelling it on kind of like Elizabeth Swann's Pirate King outfit, but in blue and gold rather than in black. And I'm very excited to do it.
Yeah, the costuming in Pirates of the Caribbean is so good. It's such good inspiration. Oh, yes. Oh, so excited.
I'm very excited for it. Yeah.
We could talk for hours about costuming stuff. I think maybe we should do an episode next year about costuming stuff.
Yeah, that would be fun. Yeah. I mean, there's so many incredibly talented people we could bring on to talk about that kind of stuff as well. Yeah, it'd be really good fun.
Yeah.
All right, Daniel's fourth question.
Whoa.
Have any LARP skills helped you in your professional/personal life? I have over the years talked about this ad nauseum, so people are probably sick of me saying this, but LARP has undoubtedly changed my life, changed my perspective on the things I thought I was capable of doing, my social skills, my self-confidence, my ability to talk to groups and express myself. Even doing this podcast has had a massive effect on my life. The fact that I was a person who creatively essentially started and never finished anything, so actually just going through the process of making podcast episodes and putting them out, and then that has built a certain sort of process within myself where you find out that you can actually start and finish and achieve things, and that you can kind of put to bed some of that perfectionist sort of stuff that can hinder you sometimes. But it's been massively influential on me. It's
probably quite similar to Ian's there, where it's increased my being able to be social. My neurospice of me is can be quite recluse. Which I think probably my previous character Keys was a little bit like that, but was getting more and more sort of open with things, and also stuff like public speaking and things like that. I know I was absolutely bricking it before Dave's funeral, because it's never been something I've been very good at, is speaking in front of groups of people. But now it's sort of like, I can actually do this sort of thing. So that sort of has helped in sort of both personal life and in my professional life. I mean, I work in IT, so I work from home a lot anyway. But actually now going back into office every so often, I feel like I can do the small talk thing now, without sort of being like, hello, I like spiders. and things like that. You know what I mean? Where it's sort of
yeah. Where you walk into a room and you info dump because you don't really know how to do small talk.
Yeah, so I know how. It's sort of like it's given me those sort of skills of being able to sort of like just make small talk and know what's appropriate to talk about. I mean, obviously stuff like with Empire, I'm talking about stuff that isn't real there, but well, in the real world it's not real, but it's real within the world of Empire.
Yeah.
And again with the other LARPs I've done in the past as well, where it's like this is a completely fictitious area, but I'm now having to like talk about things as if it's genuine, and it's like I say, it's helped me sort of be able to communicate myself better with people.
100%. Dude. 100%.
I think so.
Yeah,
I've definitely obviously we've got to know each other better over the last few years, but like you've definitely become more confident when like being around me, like we're talking, we know each other really well now. It's really nice.
I mean, that's a whole other thing, like separate from all this, like just personal life. I know some incredible people now, like that alone, and it take away anything else, just the fact that I know, like, how many friends have I got, like how many incredibly awesome people do I know, how many exceptionally talented individuals do I have the pleasure of just being able to associate with. It's outrageous.
And it's like it's talking about how LARP skills have helped your personal life, like the bonds of friendship that you have between LARP friends is incredibly strong. And I think we were trying to figure out why a couple of like months ago, and I think it's because you kind of go through so much traumatic stuff together, like with the death of your friends, incredibly intense battles, like cursed items, Cthulhu turning up in the middle of your church, like, you know, like you go through so many weird and wonderful experiences together that it forges such incredible bonds.
It's active play stuff, I think, right? Like it's being back to when you're a kid and you are engaging in make believe and you are engaging in play activities, sandboxing, literally, and all of that stuff, and the kind of bang bang, you're dead, no I'm not, yes you are, all of that. That's something that we kind of lose at a certain point in adulthood.
Yeah.
And LARP helps you, I think, re-engage with some of those aspects.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think for me, the most important thing that I've got from my LARP skills is just being able to, like, the empathetic side of me, like be able to read how my actions cause an emotional reaction to somebody else. I think you become very hyper aware of that in LARP, mainly because you also have to worry about like the icy implications of your actions, but then especially with my mindset, I also think about the OC implications, like knowing when to check in with somebody, being like, hey, I'm going to do something really arsehole-ish right now, but don't worry, it's not real, it's just my character. And then being able to then be like, bam, 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 you know? I think understanding and developing that awareness of the effect of your actions emotionally on someone it has really helped me in my professional life and in my personal life as well, which I think is really good. Yeah, I think so. Thank you, Daniel. Those are good. Those are very good introspective questions.
Yeah, very good. Right.
I think it's Millie's turn to choose a question. Yeah.
My God. Next on the list is notorious crossbow lover and leaguer James Cosmofar. Who I wonder
how these stories will link up.
Oh my God. Did I really need another episode to edit of the podcast? Yes, I did. 4 is just such an it's not a good number. I'm a 0s or a 5 kind of person. So 5 episodes or none. That is the only way I will function.
Well. You do an incredible job, by the way. Like I enjoy editing. Like as like a brief foray into things. I actually
did the dragons hunt episodes.
Yeah, it was really good fun too. I really enjoyed doing that. But for me, when I do edits, it's like a little holiday into editing, and then never again. Yeah, so I don't know how you and Dave both do it. Really.
I have never done it.
Oh, would you
As
like
a
to? You can
creative
do
process.
this episode.
Maybe next year.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, maybe they're one of my goals for 2025. Yeah.
Yeah, fine. By all means.
As a creative process, it's actually quite fun.
Yeah, I really enjoy it.
I think staring down the barrel of it, as with any creative endeavor, right, one of the hardest things to do is actually just to sit down and begin doing it for a few hours. Once you're actually doing it, it's actually quite pleasant. Yeah.
I really like it because I love sharing the podcast with everybody, but it's kind of like, for me, the episodes that I'm in, it's kind of like diary entries. It's because I've got a very visual, I suppose this is auditory brain style, where you listen to something and it triggers so many fun memories. Like I'd compartmentalized and stored away Oasis until I started editing those, and then it all came back, and I was like, oh, this is great. This is really nice. So yes, in answer to your question, James, I did need another episode to edit. Thank you very much. And his next question is, with budget being no issue, what armor setup would you commission right now?
Okay, I'm gonna like an obvious one, which just from pure monetary and just awesome, because I would never ever possibly either be able to do it or afford it, would be full plate mail. Let's just go massive, all full harness, everything.
Yeah,
blammo. However, it doesn't fit really any character that I currently really want to play or style of play that I really want to do. But just to own would be outrageous and super cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really like making stuff myself. So it's tough because some really, really good top quality Lambar would be nice to have someone make me. But having said that, then I think back to the process of making mine for a year, and it turned out pretty good, and the reward of doing that was amazing. So
yeah, your Talus Lam is so good.
Yeah, well, the steel set I made before that, which I only ever really wore for a single event, basically, because then steel was no longer really super effective anymore. Was good fun to make as well. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe some really, really nice leather arm, something like that. Would be really cool, properly epically tooled, beautiful leather armor. Yeah, would be fun. How about you guys?
Oh, Bung, you go first. I'm just looking at styles here.
I mean, I'd love to have a proper riveted chainmail halberd.
Nice.
Because at the moment I've got buttered chain, which is great. It's obviously much more cost effective, but you lose rings like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
I'd also like to have one that's actually made to fit my size, rather than off the shelf, because I'm short and wide. Because everything that's made for the wider people is also made for taller people. So if you're really tall and skinny, you end up with one that's far too baggy, or if you're like me, short and fat, you end up with one that's far too long.
Would you go steel, or would you go titanium or something like that?
It's an absolute ball ache to put on, take off, and all that, but the feeling of a steel chainmail is something. It's like you know you're wearing it initially, but when I was wearing it, and when this before lockdown, when I was able to do a lot of running on the battlefield, after a while, it's like, this is just part of me. It's moving with me. It's working like a radiator, taking the heat away from me. So I wasn't getting overheated on the battlefield.
Yeah,
I'd come off actually feeling a little bit chilly because this steel chain's working like a radiator, taking the heat away, which was great. Because I never used to wear a Gambi under it either. I used to just have a tunic, a short sleeve tunic on. My arms would be orange with the rust dust from the from the chainmail because I'm lazy. Don't oil it.
Speaking of oil your armor,
yeah,
guys.
oil
We
your
are
armor,
in the
please.
long dark.
Don't be like me and just leave it in a bag for years and let it get rusty. I mean, I quite like that look because it suited Key. He
sure
was a very sort of laid back. Yes, it's practical. It still does the job, and a little bit of rust isn't going to hurt. if anything, it's going to make it blend in more with autumn leaf, whatever.
Yeah, that's fair.
So something like that, like Ian said, a really nicely tooled leather stuff as well would be fucking beautiful. Like the stuff that Robert had for Caro.
Oh my god, yes.
The custom stuff like that. Just some of that stuff is just so amazing, and just the people who make that stuff are just so fucking talented. And it would be lovely to have a beautiful custom piece designed for one of my characters. But it's not cheap, and but if money wasn't an issue, I probably would have a combination of these, like I say, a steel halberd, riveted chain, along with a custom leather chest plate. Go over the top of it. To really piss off artists when they smack you in the chest, and you just pull the lever aside and show the chain goes all the way across.
Yeah.
Because I'm an arsehole like that as well.
I'm going to go back slightly on mine, actually, and just embrace the plate and just be like, yes, can I have it in purple and orange? For no
oh my god,
reason.
yes. For no particular reason, hey.
Yeah. How about you, Mills?
Oh god, I think I would love to have some Maximilian armor, some plate armor that is because the Maximilian style is fascinating to me. Because it was all like, yes, it was all about style, but it was also like protection and stuff, but it was also about style and shape. And you get a lot of like corseting with Maximilian style, which I think is really cool. And I think with where I want to take Claudia, my new Leaguish character, I think that would look really sick.
That looks fucking sick.
Yeah.
In terms of like actual how Millie's autistic brain would like to work, I think something leather, so like chain with some like leather on top, really beautifully done, properly fitted, like form fitted to me, where I knew that I would be able to sprint and also be able to, like, my biggest fear, and the reason why I don't wear, and not fear, but you know what I mean, like my biggest issue when it comes to wearing armor, and a bigger reason why I don't wear it, is because I don't want to feel constricted when I'm trying to move. And that doesn't mean if I'm trying to swing a sword, it's if I just literally want to run. If I feel like I can't move fully, I begin getting really frustrated with myself. And that's not to say I won't look cool in armor, because I would, but I just want something that properly fits me. And I would, like, money no option, I'd be like, I will go to the best leathersmiths, please make me look beautiful.
To be honest with you, just tailored armor to your body shape is ridiculous. Like, it's so cool. Like, what the main benefit of making the Talis armor, for example, is not. I mean, it looks quite fun, I think. But the main thing is it's made for me, for my body, right?
It makes you look so badass, so good.
I'm thinking if I was to go something like plate, it'd have to be like the sort of probably sort of medieval French engraved armor.
The etched armor is sick.
Yeah, something like that. Just
gilded armor or something as well.
I'd have to go to Dawn to wear that. But
would you do the ridiculous codpiece, like the because did you see Henry VIII's armor?
Yes.
Oh my god,
Comedy
I feel like
codpiece.
oh my
Both
no,
questions.
I feel
It's
like if I
I'm
did
gonna...
have it, you'd need a big codpiece. Like
you've got to do it.
Yeah.
If you're going like ridiculous, like filigree engraving and etched on your armor, you've got to have a ridiculously large engraved
codpiece. Yeah. What would be the theme? That I'm adding a question here, and we can credit James for it. But what would be the theme of your codpiece? You gotta think about this, because if you're having a ridiculously etched and engraved suit of armor, it's going to be an etched and engraved codpiece too.
I am a horrible man for puns. It would probably be fish, like cod.
I was gonna say fish. Yes, that would really work for you, actually, to be fair.
Yeah,
that's fun.
Yeah,
I love a pun, and literally having like a cod piece.
Yeah, I'd have flames. And it's I know that it would not be good in the area where a cod piece goes to have fire, because if it's burning, then you need to go see a doctor. But I still think it would be cool. Because I'm naive like that. Ian, are you even going to dignify that question with an answer?
No, I thought we'd move on to mint or orange chocolate. It's too classy for that question.
Does there have to be an or there, though?
I'm more towards mint. Mint chocolate.
I'm more towards mint as well.
I'm a mint.
I do really like orange, but I found orange is like quite a cool like little treat. Like after dinner treat maybe. Although I know there are after mints. After 8 mints.
Yeah.
But,
after dinner mints are more frequent than after dinner orange chocolate, to be honest, Ian.
Yeah, maybe. I'm uncultured, dude. Don't come to me for culinary advice.
Well, there is also like I think it's an American thing where they have mint and orange, like it's in one flavor combo.
Yeah, I can't imagine that. That sounds a bit dodgy.
Nah.
Sounds like you should be hung by your toes.
After Eight actually did a mint orange After Eight.
Yes, I remember.
You could also
they were a little.
Oh.
Right now, you can get yourself a Terry's chocolate orange mint version.
You can also get a plain one that's just milk chocolate. Which what's the point?
Okay.
But the mint one is actually legit, so I do recommend.
Tomorrow I'm going to go buy one, and then on our Patreon page I'll put a Millie review of the mint chocolate Terry's orange. Yeah.
It's not orange flavoured, it is just mint.
Yeah. Well, all right. But also, here's the thing: would your brain see the orange shape and the fact that it's a Terry's chocolate thing, and go, there must be a bit of orange in here somewhere?
Nah, I've gobbled one.
My brain didn't.
You've gobbled one.
Listen,
right,
I'm more than one. Listen. You don't need. I don't need to be on a Patreon. I'm not waiting for that. I wanted my mint Terry's chocolate orange, and I had it.
And it was good.
I had it thrice every which way.
And you wouldn't dignify the cod piece motif question, but you'll talk about the ways in which you've digested a Cherry's mint orange.
If you want more information on that, go to onlyfans.com/Talis Mukbang.
Oh my god. Oh no. If people weren't already flying towards only noobs content, they certainly will be now. Ooh, Jesus Christ. Next question, shall we?
Bung, I think it's your turn.
Right. Well, we started going in actual order now, so I'll carry on with that rather than just choosing at random then. Doom Baboon. Real name is
Tom.
Looking at Millie. Tom.
This is wonderful Tom, member of
Know Your Role.
No,
No?
maybe.
Is he?
I don't know if he's an official member,
he...
but he's one of the game writers for Northern Kingdoms.
That's the one, sorry.
And he's incredible. He does a lot of the downtime results. Exciting.
So, his question is, what tricks from your personal or life experience could a LARP organizer use to make their game better?
A LARP organizer?
Yeah. My professional life, I work in IT. I deal with computers, I deal with networks, and I deal with stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been one of my gripes is a lot of the time, some of the LARP sites aren't great.
Yeah.
Like, they're not easy to navigate or things like that. So a bit more into the IT side would be great. Also stuff like on-site IT facilities. I mean, especially, at Empire you've got there's 4 or 5 computers there for players to use. Which I understand, obviously, from a cost-wise, computers aren't cheap. But if you've got people who are wanting to send letters during downtime, things like that, they need to use these computers to do that on before end of play.
Yeah.
People who need to create new characters, they need to use these computers before end of play. So perhaps having some sort of system where, again, I work in networking especially, you could, if you even just having a small local area network sort of set up so people can access the site on their own devices to do these things, and then go to God or whatever to hand in relevant items to, say, sending letters out, or if you need to roll a new character, rather than having to sit in God planning everything out, you can go back to your tent, chill out in your tent, connect on your phone or whatever, and do that there.
Yeah.
So something like that, just having small little hotspots around the sites to be able to do something like that. Obviously, I know a lot of the rest will have tablets and things like that, but again, those tablets, you need to be within range of a hotspot to be able to access stuff or have everything offline on that tablet.
Yeah, I mean, it is starting. We've got Demigod at Empire, and there's like
so they've got the Demigod now.
Yeah, and they've got at the Reggio. There's a little hotspot as well, I think.
Yeah, but so something like that, just to make the player experience a little bit easier, especially for registering stuff like a character death and creating a new character.
Yeah,
because I know when my character died, I ended up sitting in God and just bashing out very simply, quickly stuff to get my new character created. Whereas I would quite like to have been able to just sit in my tent and relax and think about it, rather than sitting there thinking, oh, there's a queue of people falling up behind me, I need to get this done quickly.
Yeah, right. You'd want to be able to maybe take half an hour and just think about it.
Take my time over it and actually properly think about what I want this character. So something like that would, from my professional life, would be something that I'd love to see on sites, just to make things easier for, again, from the player side.
And it would I guess it would alleviate the strain on God as well, it would make things more accessible for people with mobility issues if they can't get all the way up to God and things like that. Yeah. I can see that. That'd be quite good. Yeah. What about you, Ian?
Yeah, I mean, I think a view towards and so, this does occur, but I think a view towards the interest and engagement of artifact and legacy and discovery, and engaging with the idea, and this comes in certain ways, but like, I think having a little bit more that was like, go and find this thing, and this thing has actual cultural relevance. A good example of this would be like the singing stones for Navarre and stuff. But I'm just using Empire as an example, but this could be in anything, any LARP really. You're living in a world that has some sense of history to it. I think something that really helps ground you in that are objects and curiosities that you can find that have some relevance. So like I guess, to be honest, like a props department that make cool props that you can go and find, and obviously I know it's budgetary and stuff, but like simple things like that you can find and bring back to your nation or group or whatever, right, are cool, right? There's something like I think we all like the tangibility, for example, of the money or the things, and I think it's interesting how I care a lot less about the wad of herbs in my hands that are just cards than I do about like the touch of the coins in my hands, or when we were at Flying Lead and the money was this paper money that got blown up into the air when their safe blew up and it came down with burn marks on it. And it's something like, oosh, that's juicy, right? This has a living history that we like. We went through this experience and got it. But to go more into history as well, and have like this idea of, why not have like some cool relic sword that you find? Why not have like a lot more stuff like this? Like, we live in this world is like teeming with life and a history and a sense of history. I just think there's so many opportunities there, and there's so many creative people as well who could be reached out to and maybe help with this kind of stuff, who have all of these kind of skills, who could really help do that. And just like, one of the big tenets, if you like, of fantasy, D&D, any of this kind of stuff, is a little bit of a treasure hunt. Let's go and find something, right? Go to the tomb of Doobadoob and get the relic of Zabazab, right? And bring it back so we can stop the curse of Wobble Wobble, right? No. And it's like, you know what I mean? Like, MacGuffins, as tropey as they are cool, right? Like, really cool. Books are cool, right? Like, letters are cool.
Like, I was going to say about
things.
like books, like, as a little bit English lit nerd here, I always found it like fascinating looking at old books, and especially looking at because when people used to gift books, they used to inscribe something on the front cover, right? And it was I always used to find it amazing, like reading back and being like, this was a gift from one example that stuck out to me was a wife giving a book that she read as a child to her husband who was going off to war, and it was like, take this piece of my life with you to look after your own life. And it was like this one sentence unlocks so much meaning for this pair of people, and you never know what happens afterwards, but like it connects you so much more to that object and then to the history of it. I totally agree with that. That would be great.
I mean, so for context, I work in libraries and in quite sort of specialist collections within libraries, in quite a large research library in the UL in Cambridge, and now I've moved to Whipple, which is like a historic psychology and philosophy and science library, and it's just like like artifacts and stuff is, I think,
it's amazing,
really important. And I often feel when I'm kind of walking around, like people are making props, like the players are making props and things, and obviously it's unrealistic to expect maybe the game or to make all of these things, and I think it is cool that players can do this kind of stuff. But I think just embracing that idea a little bit more, I think would add a lot for people. How about you, Mills?
Yeah. Oh no, I come from a very logistical / military background. So professional wise, like I always find it interesting how God teams run, and how game runners run their story as the game progresses, right? Like I've witnessed it the most at ILARP and Northern Kingdoms, where you'll have one key person in the, I'm going to say ops room, but like, the operation room where like the whole heart of the game is, and you have various different information runners who are running back and forth, relaying over the radio, like etc. And watching, again, it's only because this is my most experience of crewing, watching the people at ILARP and Feast Your Eyes do this, like the way Johnny runs games is incredible. And like watching the game runners at those sites like think on their feet and be like, oh, the expected outcome of this excursion wasn't what I thought. Shit, now I've got to rewrite half of the LARP. Like it's that being able to think on your feet, and to problem solve, and to be able to bend the storyline as the players go. I think that a lot of first time game runners often go in with a storyline and being like, right, it's crew versus players, and at the end of the weekend the crew are going to trounce the players because I want this outcome. And I think from experienced game runners, you realize that whilst you may want, it's your story that you're writing, it's not yours, it's the players. Like, does that make sense? It's as soon as you write the brief, whilst you're writing it, yes, it is yours. But as soon as you've released it, as soon as you've finished it, and as soon as that game starts, it's not your story, it's how the players interact with it and how the players change it, and how you as a game runner and a writer need to adapt to it. I think that would be something that a lot of game runners would benefit from, and a lot of games would benefit from, is that acceptance that just because something isn't going the way that you thought it was doesn't mean that it's going wrong. And it's I think that's probably what I would say.
I mean, I'm very new to being behind the scenes, but one thing I'm trying to adopt with the way I'm approaching stuff is having like, because I'm doing a little bit of writing behind the scenes, I try and make stuff that's less contingent and more possibility space. And so it doesn't, it's more suggestive of the outcome isn't determined in any way, or none of the revelations are necessarily determined. They're things that are kind of like questions and then the players will discover the answers and probably even help generate those answers more than if I sat down and actually wrote those answers whole cloth.
Yeah, I think like meticulous planning is something that LARPs benefit from, but don't always need, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like
a D&D campaign, basically. It was like the best laid plan you could have, and suddenly like your players will go, well, actually, we're going to go this way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of those sort of things where you've got to be ready for those changes. You can't have everything set rigidly in stone because you never know how the players are going to act.
Yeah, and I think also you've got like I have so many opinions. I could talk for hours about logistics and
that'd be a good topic
logistics
for another time. Maybe would be like you maybe get a bunch of people on and yourself talk logistics of LARP and have like a round table on like what it is to run games.
I would love that. That would make me really happy. I think
like, you know how you get those like acting round tables where they all talk about their process? It'd be really cool to do that, but with like game orgs.
Other YouTube channels are available, but the variety round tables, my god, they are. I think they're variety.
I think they are as well. Yeah,
they're so good,
watch, dude. They're fun to watch.
Yeah, but yeah, of how God is run, I think is legitimately how like they're so good. But anyway, we could talk for hours. We could talk for hours about that. But next question.
So this is by our wonderful Orion.
Love you, Orion.
We love you so much, dude. He was busy playing a 40k game right now. So
he is.
Good luck. Yeah. So the question is, what are your OC goals when you play a character? I.e., what are you trying to get out of the experience? I've kind of, I don't know, like, so when I used to think a lot more in terms of character arcs and things like that. What character arc do I want to experience? What kind of thing? Now I think more, weirdly, I think more in tropes, a little bit like very broad brush stuff. So I think like, okay, like my character has these affectations and these kind of wants and desires, but again, it's about leaving yourself that possibility space of not like, it's easy to think like, oh, and they're gonna die, right, and it's gonna be tragic, or they're gonna get the thing, and it's like I have a natural kind of doomish kind of thing where I kind of tend to set my characters up to kind of fail ultimately and not get the things because but I think it's more fun actually now I've kind of grown a bit, I think, to embrace the opportunity of actually what would even success look like, but also like that is a thing that can happen and that could like allowing yourself based off, well, this could good outcomes or bad outcomes could massively change my character's perspective on things, right? Like there's like the as you were saying earlier, like so many people have died, for example, at Empire. Like Talus has had to go through a lot, and his character has changed in ways that I didn't necessarily perceive when I first started in Empire. Like I thought, to be honest with you, Talus was going to be a very sort of like, actually, this sounds weird to say now, but I actually envisaged Talus when I first started as like coming back and being fairly cold-hearted and brutal and having a very pragmatic view of like life and death in that sense, like much more like, yeah, we're going to fucking kill them and, take some fingers and that sort of stuff.
Nice.
And that's not how he's gone, right? And that's the reason he's not gone that way is because of the relationships he's formed.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a bit of a poor answer to your question, Orion. But yeah, I
don't think it's a poor one at all.
Fair enough.
I go in with tropes rather than.
Yeah.
How about you guys?
Well, for me, it depends on what sort of game it's for. Whether it's for a long game or a one shot. If it's for a long game, again, like Ian, I'll tend to go more for a broad stroke, like let this character develop. Sort of have a rough idea of what I want from the character. Like with Gwithian, it's very much he's mostly a healer, things like that, blah blah blah, and then just play it by ear and see what happens, see where the game takes him, sort of ride those wins. Whereas when it comes to stuff like a one-shot, I'll tend to go, what is going to be the most fun for me to play? Like, I don't mean as in fun, take the piss fun. I mean, what am I going to get the most enjoyment about doing?
Yeah.
I mean,
that's really valid.
I really enjoy doing accents a lot of the time. So hence the reason I've had Father Killian O'Rourke, an Irish Catholic priest. Lion Led, I had Remy Dupont from Louisiana. So I was getting to pull out a bit of a southern drawl and doing things like that. And just having fun with the character that way. But again, not necessarily setting rigid in stone of what I want this character to do. It's more like, have these rough ideas. With one shots, I'm a bit more sort of like, yeah, I can have a bit more fun with this. I can go down this sort of route. It's the character's not going to be around at the end of this, whether they're alive or dead, because it's a one shot. So it's just like, what can I do to have fun with this character and also not be annoying, if you know what I mean? So, because I know some people say, oh, I'm going to make a character that I'm really going to enjoy, but is a complete dick. And as a person, I mean, sometimes that's a great character. If you have a character who is a dick, everyone loves to hate on a person sometimes.
A lot of it is true though. You kind of need to figure out what you are comfortable playing, and
I'm not comfortable being that person. I don't like being an arsehole.
Well, good, because if you did, I'd be worried, Bung.
No, well, I don't like playing the arsehole. I don't like being mean for the sake of being mean. It's probably a lot to do with how I was raised, being a middle child, and all those sort of tropes. Like, I always am sort of quite open, heart on my sleeve, whatnot. So it's sort of, those are the sort of characters I go for anyway, because that's what I'm more comfortable doing.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. I think actually, just to quickly jump on that the whole fun thing is fun that also can take like a lot of different forms. Like, I get a lot of fun from exploring emotional RP. Like, I really, really enjoy that. That's one of the things I seek the most is I want to be, if I'm not like crying or near tears at some point, like, you know what I mean? I want to be emotionally moved, like in places and taken places that challenge me to bring something to the situation. I love that stuff. And it's weird.
And you do it so well as well.
Oh, thank you. I don't know. I mean,
no, you do.
I like the ability to be vulnerable. I think that's like a real power of the safe space of LARP. You can explore. I've spoken about this a bunch of times, but like the ability to be strong and show that strength is more than just being shouty and being assertively aggressive and all those kind of qualities that we often associate. Strength is endurance and persistence, and if you're going the good arc or whatever, like, strength is like principle and dignity and all of those kind of things. I love those sort of tropes. I find myself often playing like the sort of the alien, the outcast, the person who's on the edge of whatever the brief is, and which I know people kind of tease me for often going as far as I can from the brief, but which is a perennial problem of mine. But I find I really enjoy that potential space, that space of being like, what's up with that guy? That guy's a bit weird and different, and we don't like him, but actually he turns out he's maybe not that, or he is that, right?
Yeah, that's a good little thing.
You don't break the brief, you just merely bend it.
Well, hopefully.
Exactly.
Dave would say different.
No, I think as long as you play it as true to yourself, then that's all good. I think for me, and I learned about this incredibly from the 97 Poets thing, my goals when like playing or creating a character is creating their connections out of the game, so that you've got something to play off when you're in game. I think that's incredibly important, because like going to a LARP as a solo LARPer or as a group of friends, it's great. But if you're trying to build a character and play that character from the ground up with no connections with like anything, it's really difficult, and it's not impossible. It just makes it more difficult. And I think something that I've learned, and something that was done in Eldritch really well this year, was giving your character pre-game connections. So having those relationships between two characters already established before going into the game is, I think that's a really good out of character goal that you can go for, because it's something really simple, like talking to your friends and going, "Ooh, I think it would be fun if my character knew your character because they used to smuggle goods in." And it's like, for my character who likes to buy, illicit chemical compounds, and it's having that tiny connection. When you add that to two people's incredibly individual games, actually creates so much more game for everybody else, because you've got two different avenues to go down. So yeah, I think that's my goal, is always having good connections with your characters.
I think like a really interesting thing with that as well is like we had this at Dragon Hunt. They had all these kind of connections, and that was super cool and all that. But also, when you're in a game, the ability to sort of bend light around like what it is that the players around you are trying to achieve, and reading a moment and being like, right now this character's being imposing, and I can be like the purpose of what they're trying to achieve is X, and I will act accordingly.
Yeah,
like embracing the effort is being made and reacting accordingly. I think it helps people so much to like let people be a badass, right?
Yeah.
Let people express themselves and engage with that expression, and you
definitely.
yourself will become less monotone as well.
Yeah, it's a really good way of enhancing your game. We've got so many questions
We've got a lot
left.
of questions to go. Sorry, yeah.
So,
Millie, it's yours.
Next question from our good friend Catherine. Hey, Catherine. Which one of your Empire characters would make the best Emperor/Empress? Shotgun.
Okay.
Yep.
Agni.
I mean, I think Agni would not make a good Empress. She's a good little
you're actually
behind the Empress or Emperor.
I'm actually going to say Agni
master,
would be, dare I say, and saying this as Talis, I think Agni would be the worst candidate out of all of us as Empress, especially as proven murderer.
I'd say that was her taking control of her, who knows.
But
if she was Empress, she could have had the militia do it for her.
I think Talis would be fine. He'd be okay.
You would spend the entire Empire budget in a second.
Could not be trusted monetarily, but weirdly probably has his heart in the right place and would actually listen to counsel, and probably would be pretty reasonable in most ways and get certain things done. But I think, to be honest with you, we're all sleeping on the real candidate. And by the way, I think an interesting thing is, I think Gellert would be all right if he was
wasn't even thinking Gellert.
But I'm thinking the real sleeper is Gaius.
Genuinely, I think it would be Gaius.
Gaius would be a phenomenal emperor. Like somebody would have been like, somebody like Gaius would be amazing.
Because you were so stoic and stalwart, and you gave the best advice. Like, and you still gave. I say gave. Like, Gaius gave the best advice, but Bungle gives very good advice. Like, I think you would make a brilliant Emperor.
100% agree.
I think with the advice thing is because I really played into that part of the guide gameplay with keys. I'm doing the same with Gwithian as well, where it's basically, I'm a guide, but I am not a fucking synod priest. It's like, I'm very much traditional. I'm not telling you, I'm helping you find your place.
Yeah.
And that's where all my advice would come from. Is like, nice. I will talk to you, and help you figure things out.
Yeah.
And give you the advice that I give.
Yeah.
From that. I mean, I had some wonderful feedback from the advice I gave people. So
that's good.
I think you'd kill it, dude. I think you'd be really good. Really good.
I think Gwydion, probably not so much.
Probably still the best of all of us, maybe, though.
Yeah.
Well...
You definitely you'd increase height restrictions across the episode, that's for sure.
That's the first thing he would do. Is basically he would have a height minimum on all awnings.
Amazing. All right. Next question: what type of NPC would you most like to play?
Now,
I want to play a bad guy.
Yeah. I was.
Like trusted confidant. And then revealed by stabbing in the back. Oh my god, that's what I want to do.
I do love a good villain. I love a good villain.
Yeah, right.
And I think like getting the opportunity to play like some kind of like slightly otherworldly, creepy, alienish kind of villain would be fun.
That would be good.
You know, something like a bit fey would be really fun. Like lots of power and ability to manipulate stuff. Loads of things like that. Yeah. But yeah, a heel turn would also be amazing. There's so many. The possibility space with villains is just incredible. There's a reason why they're always the coolest.
I just want to like see if I could pull off a oh my god, no way. And if only we weren't recording this and to be published online where people could have a record of the fact that I really want to play a villain. But you never know.
You never know.
I mean, like I say, I probably could do playing the bad guy. I mean, one of the NPC roles I did at on one of the Eerie Light event was I did an NPC where I was the main NPC for one with James Hewitt of Fancy Nuts for his previous Empire character, who used to be a bit of a shady fucker. I used to be in a thieves guild or thief gang with him. And basically, we enticed him out to the woods with a load of people, and it was me and the gang, basically wanting to find out what the fuck happened to all the money we had when he disappeared from the gang.
Yeah.
And basically, he comes up to us, and I just stab him multiple times in the chest, and start yelling at him about where the fuck is all the money, where the fuck is everything. And that was really actually so much fun to do.
Yeah.
And then it sort of ended up with him with this well, where the fuck is it? Because he was like, I don't have any clue. He was like, oh, fuck.
I mean, you also stabbed him multiple times in the chest, so I'm surprised he could answer at all.
Well, I healed him up enough to be able to talk to us. I didn't
Oh, well, that's
fully kill him.
Yeah.
Just enough to sort of let him know that I meant business.
I think like the NPC aspect lets you be villainous in a really interesting way. Right, I think it opens the door to villainy in such a cool way that is so fun.
Like being the NPC that a D&D campaign party shouldn't really take with them, but then becomes the most beloved character ever, and then becomes the whole bedrock of their revenge story when they accidentally die. My god, NPCing is so fun. I love it.
NPCing bad guy I could probably do. PC bad guy I couldn't.
No, that's fair. I think it's easier when you get given a character and you have a role to fill.
This is the role I have to fill, rather than me having to perform as this is my character, this is what I do.
Yeah. Next question.
I think it's yours, Buck?
It is. It's the question from the wonderful Angus.
Hey, Angus.
Of former Demarian fame. Thanks for that. E1, first thing, you die.
He's not caught up on it at all, Angus. It's totally fine.
Not at all.
No,
not at all. Start my year how I mean to go on.
If I could take a picture of what Bung looks like right now, oh my god. But what's the question, Bung?
The question is, how is it that you guys are all just so nice and kind and helpful to everyone?
Oh, fuck off.
Clearly talking about Millie.
No, God, no.
Yeah, you're the best, dude.
I just think I think it's just all our personalities. That's what we're like.
Oh, yeah. I always say, I don't have the energy to be an asshole. I'm too tired.
There is a lot of energy, dude.
It's so, I think as well, something that I always believe is that nobody is an asshole unless they were given reason to become one. That's like, it's a really round table way of saying there is always a reason why somebody is acting the way that they are. And I live by that. I think it's probably a bad reason. It's therapy, but you know what I mean.
I think your friends are a big part of it as well, right? Like, again, we're very, very fortunate. Like, the peer group that we all have, the friends that we all have, the connections we have are amazing and help, I think, hopefully keep us all goodish people.
I mean, it sounds really hippie. It's just also that whole karma thing. It's like, you get what you give. It's like, if you're a nice and kind person to someone, then it comes back to you. It costs you nothing to be nice to someone, to help them out, or whatever. It's just like, you think about, like, if you're having a shit weekend, you're freezing cold, you haven't got a campfire or anything like that, someone just going, just chill out by our fire for a bit, warm yourself up, get dry, chill out here till the rain stops, whatever, and just having nice chats and things like that, it can make the difference to that person's entire weekend.
Yeah.
Just for like 5-10 minutes of you being, a fucking human being.
Hospitality, dude, is like huge at LARP. It's so good.
Exactly. And I've never had a case where it's like, do you mind if I just warm up by your fire? And someone said no.
Yeah. And that doesn't mean that you have to then put yourself out to look after other people. It just means that, like, you need to protect your own space. But also just don't actively push people out. Like, I always find the best way to deal with people, if you are not particularly in the mood to people, is just to say, hey, this is where I think you should go. Like, if somebody's come and ask you a question and you don't want to deal with them, then you just go, I'm really sorry, I can't help right now. But if you head down in this direction and talk to this person, then you think, like, being a signpost is much better than being a brick wall.
Dude, that's pretty much most of my life is a LARP.
Did I just inadvertently make a really good fucking anecdote? Oh, mate.
You did. You killed it, dude.
I'm going to get that made on a t-shirt for merch.
I think that should. A signpost is much better than a brick door or wall. I don't know. I'm tired. It's been a long day.
Right, next question from our very own David Wimpenny.
Oh, the man,
and this,
the myth, the legend.
Is a question for you two, I think, so I will stay out of it. Have you found taking over the podcast? Is it everything you hoped it would be?
I've enjoyed it. All I've had to do is just turn up and speak into a microphone and then send files over to Millie. It's been great.
Yeah, I it's more work than I thought it would be. I have loved it. Like I said earlier, these are basically just diary entries for me. I love our little community so much. Like, people that listen every week or every time we release an episode, like Daniel and Catherine and Katie and Angus and like Orion, everybody that listens to the podcast, and either if they interact online or if there was one person and I never caught their name, and I should have done because they made my day. At E3, I was waiting for Goldie to come and find me for a wedding date, and somebody just walked past me and said, you sound like you have a very beautiful voice, and I've heard it on the winds. And then they just said, you're doing a really good job, thank you, and walked off. And I was like, that is the nicest thing. And I was just there like, and it just made me squeal a little. And like, you guys, I think that's been the best thing from getting this podcast, is the community.
Yeah. The community that you and Dave built has welcomed us with open arms.
Yeah.
That was the big fear I think we had when we took over, that people would be like, who the hell are these guys? I mean, I know I'd appeared in a couple of episodes previously. I formerly did the stuff as the narration at the start of the episodes. But it was like, now I'm coming in and I'm rambling bollocks for an hour or so. They're just going to go, yeah, we don't like him. But no, they've welcomed us with open arms. So yeah, it's been great.
Yeah.
Super, like, I mean, I know me and Dave both love it, basically. Basically, we get to ride off into the sunset and say, sucks to be you guys. No, seriously. It's, you guys have to be honest, I think you've made it bigger and better and done more with it. I mean, Millie, you've put so much work in.
It's been Millie who's done all the work.
So much effort and work. I mean, it's amazing, really. And it means a lot to see it still continue and to be even bigger and better, thanks to all of you. You know, you guys' effort. And I love you guys.
Love you.
Love you too.
Sentimentality, gross.
I know.
Next
What's your question, Millie?
Oh yeah, from Oily. What is a character, e.g., non-com elf mage, that you think one of the other hosts should play, even if it's just for one event?
Oh, spicy question.
I want to see Ian the Orc.
Ian the Orc could be great.
What? I mean, just an orc, or like, is there a certain personality type you're going for? I mean, or is it just you want to see me dressed up in orc?
I want Ian to be a prize pit fighting orc.
Wow. Okay, that would be a challenge.
That is, yeah.
It'd be cool though.
I think that'd be fucking amazing.
Yeah,
because the showmanship you have with Talis, imagine that, but as a prize-winning pit fighter. I think that'd just be brilliant.
Yeah, it'd be amazing. If people would actually buy in to the idea of me being in any way badass, which I am not, then it'd be amazing.
Do you know who I think, sorry, it just popped into my head. Some sort of like reformed, so person of the night turned badass, like bounty hunter mercenary. I think would be really fun for you. I think that'd be quite good.
Yeah. I could definitely edge lord up, but I pretty much do all the time anyway in my own way, to be fair.
Make it emo.
Oh my god,
that'd be good. Prize fighting pit fighting orc would be good.
That'd be a lot of fun. Actually, I would enjoy that.
I would love to see Bung. I think I would really love to see you as like a tortured poet, playwright.
That's
just
so good.
trying to get like
so
his
good.
magnum opus performed, and it never quite being right. I think
Bung spear is like
Bung spear. Yes.
What that would be is basically because I don't have a creative writing mind at all. So it'd be like my poetry would just be really shit limericks.
But they're the best though. I love a good limerick. I think I'd really love to see you like wearing like I imagine like in a 3-piece suit with a big cravat. Like little trilby.
So we're talking sort of like 1930s.
Oh yeah, but that kind of like motif, like implant it into any kind of any kind of like theme. But I think that would be a really fun one to watch you play.
I fear you. I don't know what Cloudy is going to be, so you might already have this in plan. But I would love to see you as some kind of mercenary captain, absolute badass cutthroat, like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ice scar and like ready for a scrap, Bravo style, anytime let's fucking go kind of character would be amazing.
That would be awesome.
But has like a band of merry men, a badass Robin Hood would be ace. I'd love
able
to
command a room by sitting in a chair and just being silent. That would be Actually,
I quite like you though as like being like very kind of brash and boastful. Walking into a room would be really cool as well, and just being like, we've come to collect.
When you walk in the room that the air changes. That's the kind of confidence.
It'd be super cool. I'd love to see that kind of stuff. Yeah.
The only thing with that is I don't think the tension between you and Neve could only get so much more heated.
Oh, that's where I'm heading first.
Exactly. I got the feeling that's what that would head.
Yeah. Oh no, it's gonna happen.
Okay.
Don't you worry. She's like Neve's newly single. Nobody knows what Claudia's situation is. You'll be fine. Don't worry about it. It's all good. You guys don't know what.
Cold.
I don't know anything about Kelly, by the way. I'm like super excited to see what you do with the role.
I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, I think you're going to do some really cool
bump
stuff.
into her at some point on Empire.
Yeah,
be good. Next question.
That's Bung.
My turn. This one's from Aaron the Salt Lord.
Oh yeah.
What is the most memorable small moment of this year's LARPing? Like something small that made you smile or filled you with some warmth, but wasn't necessarily connected to the greater game you were part of at the time. I think one that warmed the cockles of my cold, dead heart was an actual OC proposal.
Aww.
Between
Warning, content contains the names of a couple that are very much in love and it's disgusting, so we won't include it in this podcast.
Yeah.
You got to see that?
Annoyingly, I didn't actually see the actual proposal even. But like basically I'd come outside and then just like Chloe just came running up to me like hand up in the face with the ring, and I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, that's so cute. I love love.
Yeah, it's one of those things that just is just always beautiful to see.
Yeah. Cute.
Matty winning the archery tournament at Dragon Hunt was outrageous.
Nice.
Like, I couldn't even see from my angle the target. And the target was like this gong, essentially. So all I got was like on the final shot, just this wonderful like dong.
Nice.
And that's how I knew that she'd won. It was so good. It was just like, what a cool moment. And I was like, oh my god, this changes everything. She's got the king's favour. Like, it's outrageous. Outrageous bit of storytelling that just happened, right? And I love that about LARP. It's just like all of a sudden, like a player will do something, and it's like hard skill. And bear in mind, so many things are hard skill, whether it's like shooting an arrow or the way that you act and all this kind of different stuff. It was fucking awesome. So cool. How about you?
Bastion. It was myself, and I took a friend, Chris, who had never done any LARPing before, and Bastion was his first ever LARP, and watching James Lamb and his little bunch of reprobates take him under their wing, especially when my character died not once but twice over the Bastion weekend. I went through 2 characters. I'm not going to talk about it.
Greedy.
Yeah, I have feelings. Damn you. And also, right, I got killed by Will of the Crimson Reapers, who plays Lachlan. So the Reapers literally have it out for me in every single system. It's ridiculous. I'm not happy about it. Well, I am. It was actually really fucking funny. But yeah, like that was my most little like small moment, was just watching just how, because I was so nervous for Chris. I was like, I really want him to like LARP. I want him to have a nice time. And just seeing him like run around like a little puppy in the zombie apocalypse with 3 seasoned LARPers, be like, this is how you do it. This is how you have fun.
That's great.
Like, I will be forever grateful. So yeah, it was wonderful.
First bit of proper physicking.
Assisting, that's really cool. Yeah, that's really
assisting cool. Oily, because we'd gone into Dawn, and Morgan's character was taking part in some Dawnish fight of some sort for glory or some bollock. But he managed to once again fracture ribs and puncture a lung. So assisting Oily in the breaking open of Morgan's sternum, and assisting him fishing around to fix him up and patch him back together.
Nice.
It was a lot of fun.
That's good.
He's more fishnet than man now.
Legit.
Oh yeah. The amount of times his ribs have had to be fixed.
Oh God. Next question.
And this is from Obi. What little things do you think more people should have to make life that little bit easier at LARP? Example, skirt loops to keep dresses, skirts and drag in the mud, to keep a portable fan for those hot events, or even just a giant pack of 8-hour hand warmer packets. Those are all really good suggestions.
Those are all things that I have.
Super obvious one, but like goes back to what Millie said. Connections and friends are big and clever. Like, if you're going to be attending your first LARP, reach out on the various socials and see if there's anybody who you can just make a point of contact with, and it's not like you suddenly have to make them your whole game or anything like that.
No, but having a place where you can go to if
Yeah, and when you're at the event, just find your people, and when you find your people and you find your space, that makes things so much more easy. I think just having good, kind, welcoming people who are there for you and you're there for them, and just get yourself socially acclimatized and be a good person, and then it's all awesome, right? Like it's just great. Like the power of people is manifest.
Yeah.
What I'm going to suggest is probably, but it's going to be one of those sort of horribly practical things. Something to keep your feet dry. So whether it be waterproof boots or waterproof socks, because there is nothing worse than cold, wet feet. And also, if you are going to buy a pair of boots to LARP in, break them in beforehand.
Yeah.
Because if you're wearing a pair of boots for the first time, you will get pinching, blisters, and all those sort of things. And they're not fun to deal with at the best of times, and deal with them if it's cold and wet and you've got a massive blister on the back of your heel or whatever, or somewhere on your foot. It's going to be so much pain you're going to be in for that entire weekend, and it's going to ruin things.
Yeah, also, like, don't be a stickler for style. And LARP ends at the ankles. Like, get something that you're going to be able to run around in, that has got proper ankle support, that's waterproof. Dave and Ian, you guys have got those old combat boots, don't you?
Yeah, they're just army boots.
I think you use the Altberg.
Altberg Warriors, yeah, they're really good.
Yeah,
other army boots are
available.
Boots are available, yeah. But again, definitely break them in. And I would say a little medical kit is no bad thing to have.
Oh my god, a box of painkillers,
painkillers, plasters, antiseptic wipes, things like that. Just because, I mean, I've cut myself at LARP.
Yeah. I mean, I tend to bring a lot of stuff for the group, so obviously, again, power of friends, like, I tend to have, like, all the medical stuff kind of covered, but, like, I think if you were going on your own, it would be no bad thing to buy yourself a little mini, first aid kit and get yourself some basic, painkillers and stuff that are good for you.
Yeah, and even, like, extra pairs of clothes to sleep in.
So,
like, you can sleep however you want. If you want to sleep in your birthday suit, if you want to sleep in pajamas, have a lovely time. If you're going LARPing, bring multiple pairs of sleepwear if you are so inclined. Because I always find that if you if you sweat in the night, everybody does. Hate to break it to you. If it gets damp and then those clothes don't dry out because of the weather and the climate inside your tent, putting those clothes on again at the end of the day when they're cold and then they're then cold, you risk getting ill, you risk having a horrible night's sleep. Just it adds bulk to your kit, but just take steps. Bring extra socks, bring extra clothes to sleep in, and then that way you have a much happier time at LARP.
Some kind of earplug, and whether I tend to go for the silicone ones. I quite like those. But also the eye coverings. I find like having an eye covering is so I can have sensory deprivation, which I kind of need anyway. Because LARP can be like, the ambient sound can be quite pleasant, but I can't sleep with it, so I need to remove it. And if you're going to be sharing a tent, you don't know whether or not your best mate is actually like a big snorer or whatever.
Definitely not me.
I have never noticed you snore.
Do you do like I do and wear noise-cancelling earplugs?
No.
Oh, okay.
You don't snore. You do not snore as bad as you think you do.
Oh, I do. You just haven't encountered it yet.
Oh,
I'm very sensitive to sound.
I'm very lucky then.
Sight, so I just I cancel it all out. So
yeah, I'm very lucky in the fact that I just sleep through everything. But yeah, I think
amazing superpower.
Yeah,
so
I think the main thing that we can take away from that question is look after the OC moments. Like, look after your sleep, look after your comfort. LARPing will then look after itself. If you look after you, LARPing will look after itself.
It's much easier to take something off while you're asleep if you get too hot than it is to warm yourself up if you're too cold in your bed.
Yes.
Right. Next question.
'Tis you, Millie.
Oh, it is me. Oh, also, Katie Harris. Hello, Katie Harris. If each of you were a D&D class, what would you be? What would you choose for yourself and each other? I mean, I know this because I know Ian. You're a little tiefling, I reckon. You're like a little tiefling. I want to say a bard, but I don't really think bard for you. Are you a tiefling bard?
I think I'm probably a tiefling warlock or something.
Whoa, yeah. Warlock,
still, like, I think that's probably how it is. I think a tiefling warlock who wants to be a bard. I think actually I am pretty much like my now dead character from D&D campaign I'm playing. Very sad. Rip Cassadia. But probably a hexblade warlock, 1 level dip, then leaping into swords bard, so I can be everything running off charisma.
Nice.
Even though this sounds hugely egotistical because I'm not necessarily the most charismatic person, but I like dancing around and being fancy.
Nice.
And
for Bung.
I really like Paladin for Bung, or Cleric. I think actually maybe Cleric for Bung is actually more accurate, but I think you would pull off big Paladin vibes, and, well, I know you could do Paladin really well. Thanks to Thar, who was an incredible Dragonborn that Bung played, who was just the personification of Tyr, god of justice, which literally... It was just incredible. There was a court scene with Bung we had where somebody asked him like how he could justify himself, and he just dropped like this awesome line about him being a paladin of Tyr, god of justice, and it was just like, okay, no more questions.
I rest my case, Your Honor.
It was so good.
That was basically it, and the others, well, yep, fine.
Yeah.
Off you go.
What about you, Bung? What do you think for yourself?
I mean, I've probably done some same sort of lines of like, probably along the lines of cleric or paladin, just in regards to the sort of very headstrong my ideas. When I think something, this is how something should be done, that's how I do it.
Yeah, I think you're also
that's
very
probably
available.
A lot down to my neurospice.
I think you're also very available in terms of like it goes with the whole guiding thing that you do. Like, I think you're that whole kind of want to go into like the clergy aspect of like listening and being there for people. You're very good at that.
Yeah. The only thing that makes me not like that is not at all religious in real life.
No, which I think is really interesting actually, like how actually a lot of those qualities are transferable. I don't know if that I don't know the right way of phrasing it, but like that sort of that mindset exists beyond the concept of what that is, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, for you, Mills.
Half-elf rogue.
Yeah, rogue is very tempting, dude. A rogue is very tempting. I could also see a little bit of warlock, actually, for you. Would be. I think you could be a fun warlock.
I think with you got that roguish element where like you're so evil.
Thank you. I was about to say, how dare you, and I realised it's out of the bag now. I can't put it back in.
Maybe like a swashbuckly rogue or something.
Yeah.
It could be really fun for you.
A bit of gallivanting.
Like, yeah,
I'd like that.
I like that. I think you'd be. How about, what do you think for yourself?
I do druid. I
can see druid for you. Like, that's a great one.
Yeah. is it this way of like circle of water? Is that what it is? Yeah, I have admittedly this is just taking inspiration from the current character that I'm playing, but like a warforged druid, water based, like she's an old shipfront.
Amazing. Oh, dude, that's so cool.
That got separated from her ship in a storm and is is going and she's in search of her crew. Like super, but also the thing that I like about her is the fact that she can't actually speak because she's made of wood. So it's like that whole thing of like she talks through like telekinesis and stuff. Not telekinesis, what was it? Telepathy. And with the new the little D&D tangent for you now, in the new book there is a whole language like that you can speak that doesn't involve actually. They have sign language now. In the new rule set, so I think that would be quite cool, quite good fun. I think a little druid for me would be quite nice.
Yeah, a druid for you would be amazing.
Yeah.
Next question is, and why are you all just the best? No. Nope, fuck off.
Only
Stop
Millie's
complimenting.
The rest of us just here.
No. I don't like it. If you guys keep complimenting me, like one day, one compliment will stick and my ego will get so big, I will be stuck in this room for the rest of my life.
Well, sorry, we'll come and like grease the edges so you can get out. Sorry.
No, thank you. I like my little head the way it is, perfectly formed.
You're amazing, dude.
So you guys are all wonderful. I'm only able to be as good as I am because of the people around me. So yeah, you guys are awesome. But yeah, next question.
All right, this one is from Amy Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
What is your favourite LARP snack? I.e., something that you can eat in the field and doesn't need a kitchen to prepare.
Nice. Oh.
Well, we think Millie.
Well, there was a vicious rumor going around on the Facebook page that I would say pocket sausage.
GM.
I would argue that pocket sausage is not a snack; it is a way of life.
Fair enough.
So, so it's fuck it, it's pocket sausage. It's got to be. I was going to say a sandwich, but like depending on what level of sandwich you're going for, you do kind of need a little bit of a kitchen prep area.
Not all sandwiches are made even as well.
No, especially not when there's pear involved. No.
I quite like having a little cheeky Rice Krispie square or something like that. Like that I can just like pull a chunk off and shove in my face when I out doing a thing. That's quite good.
High in sugar to get your energy up quickly like, is really good.
I like having one pocket that's that, and then a pocket sausage or jerky or something like that. Like being able to like mix up the savoury and the sweet when depending on energy levels, I think is crucial.
Yeah, I think my go-to is definitely jerky. I mean, I think at E1 and E2, I had my own batch that I'd made. And yeah, just having like something like that because it's dried meat. It you can just have it in your pocket. It's fine. I mean, obviously I have it in a small bag in my pocket. I just have it loose rattling around in my pocket with lint and all that crap. But yeah,
adds
just
flavour, right?
It's high protein. It's concentrated protein as well.
Mm-hmm.
So you just sort of there, you boom, and again, the other one thing about it is it's also quite an icy snack as well, especially if you're in a Navari where you walk the trods. You're going to have stuff like that. You're going to have either like jerky or pemmican or something like that, which is going to keep for a long time, and it's going to be able to sustain at least like the proteins and things like that. So again, just having that on me.
Settings as well, right?
Yeah,
like
most LARP
Wild
settings.
West, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Like because generally speaking, in LARP, there's some reason you're in some sort of place, right? It's a meeting spot where there's a degree of travel has been involved, for whatever reason. Like there's those kind of common tropes are all there. So yeah, jerky works in a lot of ways that way.
Yeah, just having something like jerky, or I tend to like dried meat. Also, not necessarily one that I carry around with me, but I also tend to bring stuff like either protein bars, and try to bring some fruit, like especially I love citrus fruit. Like having like tangerines or something like that, especially back at the camp, so I can just sit down, feel one of those, get some sugar, vitamins in me, especially vitamin C because I don't want scurvy. I've got bad enough teeth as it is. So yeah, just stuff like that, which again, I mean, you don't have to worry too much in regards to is your snack definitely an icy snack, but it's like just nice to have that sort of thing where I don't feel like I'm going to suddenly pull out a chocolate bar and start peeling out a breaking up a bar of dairy milk with a big purple wrapper in front of everyone. Then I just reach in my pocket, pull out a bit of jerky or something like that, or pull out a bit of fruit.
Yeah, that's fair.
Can I throw in shandy, root beer, anything like that? Like a non-alcoholic beer equivalent thing that could be dressed up as beverage for those of us who are not heavy drinkers, but like the affectation a little bit, and also it's just like a nice beverage.
Yes.
Most of the time Talis is in fact not consuming alcohol and is actually just having shandies and root beers.
It was a sham all along.
It is, yeah. So
you're sitting there thinking, I'm trying to keep up with Talis, but I'm so hammered and he's still fine. He's just drinking shandy.
Yeah. It's the only way I'll survive. Yeah. Like a couple of beers and I am in a bit of trouble, to be honest with you. So I do partake, but I have to stagger it. So I kind of beer and then or some alcoholic beverage, then a couple of shandies or something, and then I'll hit into something else, and then try and kind of get myself to a certain level responsibly.
Yeah. Wise.
Okay, next question. This is from Christopher Drew. You can either remove one LARP trope from the hobby forever or add a new one of your own invention. What is it? It depends what you mean by LARP trope, I suppose.
Yeah, I was about to say, define trope. Let's see what Google says.
I think an obvious one would just be like the idea that it's not for you. Like this space, that any kind of suggestion that this space is either too nerdy or too exclusatory to whatever you are. Is. I think there's been massive leaps, by the way, over the last few years, but certainly the last 5-10 years, there's been big strides made. But obviously, they can always be improved. But I think that's a very obvious one, to just be more inclusive and just get people doing the thing, because the thing is awesome, and I think we've all discovered how much we love it, and a big part of that is because in a sense we've been fortunate enough to find people who were not dicks when we started, and therefore gave us a good entry space into it, right? Which I think is massive, right? Like if we'd all turned up and people were horrible, that would have changed and coloured everything, right? And if it was like a bunch of actually people, or a bunch of like super dry stuff going on, or if everybody was like, you can't do this because of X or Y, then like we'd all be probably not doing it and just doing something else. But like
we're very lucky that we've got a friendship group that's very much a yes and group of people, aren't they?
But I think the hobby's moved on as well. Bear in mind, I have no concept of what it was like 20x years ago, but I think undeniably there's been a lot of progress made, and I think that is an obvious one to state as something that just more of that, please.
I think what really sings out for like how good our first event was how horrible the weather was that weekend.
It's truly awful.
Yeah, and this is before we had the awning, before we had the fire pit. So we just had there was you, me, and Dave in a 4-meter bell tent.
Yeah.
And the weather was atrocious. Modpocalypse occurred. It was but we had such a good time. We came back. Yeah, and we're still going.
Yeah. I don't know if this is a trope, but I would love to implement like a little story checkpoint service in LARP. And I don't think this would work, but something that I have witnessed a little bit this year is a lot of like gatekeeping and plot. I say plot hogging. I don't think that's the right term, but when you have a group of very keen individuals who really like the story, and yes, character wise, it makes sense for them to look after a lot of the details and to guard. Because if you're investigating, say for example, like I don't know, the murder of somebody, if somebody, well, like, oh God, I chose murder and I'm a fucking murderer, but you know what I mean. Like,
I know what you mean.
If a random person comes up to you and goes, "So, what are the main clues that you've discovered in this murder investigation?" Like, character-wise, you wouldn't necessarily share with it, but it's it also becomes very like gatekeepy when it happens constantly. And I think that it would be something that a lot of the NPCs I know, especially like NPCs like Abby, like crew members help a lot with this.
Yes.
Is where you've got implanted NPCs and crew that go, so just sit me down and talk me through what you're thinking. And do it loud enough that these other players who haven't been involved because they missed out on a mission or whatever, are all kept in the loop, and it creates a much nicer LARP environment.
Yeah. I think that's a really good suggestion, and I think there's also there's a lot of ways to skin that cat, to use a horrible analogy. Like also the like, let's say you go on some treasure hunt, to hark back to something I did earlier, right? There's, you and Bung have the secret map and you're keeping it to yourself so you can go and find the treasure, right? And you're rightly keeping it to yourselves. Well, who's to say there isn't some other researcher or some other dead adventurer out there who has a similar map or similar notes or similar things out there that we can kind of bring in to bring other people in, right? Like, you don't have to, like, there's lots of ways the game team can be involved in making sure that, like, a plot's not just locked away somewhere. Like, we've not just like delivered one little drip somewhere in a vast sea, and it's landed in someone's cup. There's lots of ways to have, like, let the plumbing system be a little bit leaky, right? And let the drips fall and let people come along and pick them up in their cups, and then it's not just limited to one group. And people can find out things at different times as well. Like,
exactly.
And there's lots of catch-up mechanics you can build into things, right? Like, as I say, maybe you and Bung, you got that map through going and doing lots of things, and that's cool and awesome for you, and like, you've got all that endeavor, and maybe you've got clue piece X and Y and Z, but then somebody comes along and they've got some other piece, and all of a sudden now you find out that they've got that, and then that brings more people into the web, and you'll have to work together, right?
Those are my favorite kind of stories where you'd, like, different groups of people get different missions, which then supplies different clues, but there's only one way to get the whole story. It's when you unite, and it, like, all the puzzle pieces fit together. It's really cool. I like that.
That's super cool.
Next question. Is it mine? I cannot remember.
It is you. Yes, I
oh God, I'm so bad at this. Adam Palmer. What one hat in Empire would you take and abuse to the absolute highest level? Bonus points for how?
I'm really boring. You know what? I don't think Talis would abuse too much. Maybe a boss seat, and would just go crazy with it. Talis is well suited to probably a mediocre level of power. he's actually well positioned as somebody to maybe get a way house or something, right? Wink, wink.
I hope so. I hope that 2025 has many successes at Empire for you this year. I'm excited.
How about you two?
Like, it's a bit of a jokey one. I'd be the keeper of the kennels, the kennel master, and I would abuse the power entirely by bringing in loads and loads of puppies and distracting my enemies with cuteness, and then attacking that way. I think that would be my...
That's cool.
Yeah. I mean, spending the year dealing with the Senate game, there's not much you can do there to abuse your power, apart from probably just taking anyone who offers you money to put your stuff in. Like, oh, you want this going in? Yeah, I'll second it, but it's going to cost you. Or, oh, you need a motion put in? Yeah, I'll do that, but it's going to cost you. You want me to vote this way? Okay, it's going to cost you.
That just sounds like my year in Senate.
Well, let's be honest, Gellert was a very honest senator.
Yeah.
He traded motions and traded seconds to get what he needed to get put through. But I'm fairly certain he never took money put in a motion, or took money for a second, or money for
no vote. That's very true. I was thinking, like, in terms of Senate positions, maybe not, but like, I'd like to be a library, like be one of the keepers of the library, and then I would abuse my power there by making it a legal requirement that every smut publisher, which there are quite a few in Empire now. It is, you cannot walk for smut. Everybody who published a book in Empire or in Anvil had to deliver the first edition to the library. I think that would be quite fun.
A legal deposit department for smut.
Yeah, right.
Amazing.
Or not even smut, but just any of the books, because like the amount
that's literally
of work...
how the legal deposit libraries work in the UK as well.
Yeah.
Thinking of one that could be abused quite well. I can't remember the correct title, but it's the ones who from the synod who get the truly owl.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Yeah, you can do lots of fun stuff.
Because that is a very, very limited resource.
A very limited resource.
And yeah, I mean, past life visions and stuff like that are worth a lot to a lot of people. Also, it's the only way of getting artifacts made.
Yeah.
So
one day
having the the truly owl under lock and key, and having the access to it would be quite good.
Yes, that would be tasty. All right, Bung.
Right, lower on to the final 3 questions, everyone.
All right, so the next question is from Alexandra Sherratt. Sorry if I've mispronounced your surname, I do apologise. How do you manage LARPing, podcasting, grown-up jobs and social life?
That's a real question for you, Millie, to be honest with you. You are an outrageous individual who engages everything at 11 out of 10, and I don't know how you do it.
I'll tell you this for now, dear listeners, Alexandra and everybody above. I woke up this morning at 2:30 to go to work for 4. It is now midnight, and we are still recording. So I think it's just, if you remove sleep from that equation, which I've noticed you left it out of the question because you obviously think it is as insignificant as I do, then that is your answer.
Yeah, my answer was going to be caffeine.
Yeah, it's caffeine and organization, which is the hardest part. But I have a Google Calendar, and if it's not in my calendar, I will forget about it instantly. So I have everything in my Google Calendar, from all of the LARP events I want to go to, the episode schedule, recording schedule, like even down to social media post schedules. It's all in my calendar.
That's actually really good. Like, I am not that guy, dude. I am definitively not that guy. I am a very bad insomniac. I will go sometimes days without sleep, but I have yet to weaponize my insomnia in any way. I just am an inefficient blob of no sleep.
Might I suggest doing 24-hour streams for insomnia? It works.
I don't think I can maintain interesting, coherent, or relevant thoughts for that long. I just become
it's just practice, isn't it?
Yeah. But no, you guys are amazing.
So are you. Stop putting yourself down.
Yeah. my trick is caffeine, and I'm one of the lucky, in inverted commas, few who can survive on 4 hours sleep a night.
I do not call my version of sleeping survival. It is awful, and I would not wish it on anyone.
We are also not endorsing lacking of sleep.
No, please do not live this way.
Sleep is very good for you.
Sleep is very important. Like I say, it's a very small subset of the population who can actually function on less than 6 hours sleep. I am, again, inverted commas, lucky to be in the bracket. I mean, most nights I'll get between 6 to 7 hours, but my body will never let me sleep more than 7 hours.
Yeah.
And normally I'll be up when the sun comes up.
Yeah. I think it's a good dose of timekeeping and organization, caffeine, and ability to get by with the lack of sleep. I think that's the key, the key elements to achieving true balance in all things.
I think Millie has the ability to herd cat. The fact that her organisational skills to get us together to get everyone into one place.
I think there's also something to be said for, on the few episodes that I've done over the years where, just obviously if you work with extremely good people, things are a lot easier, right? Like if you're doing an episode recording with somebody who's super keen about what they're talking about, if you're, you're somebody that you get on with, all that kind of stuff.
and having flexible people as well. Like, for example, we were supposed to start this recording at 9 p.m. I did not leave work until like X time, so I didn't get back until past. And you guys were very kind in saying, "Don't worry about it. We'll record later." So yeah, you also need a good support system and people that are flexible around you, which is good.
All right, last 2 questions from Chelly Surreal.
Yeah.
So
fun fact, at time of recording, Chelly and a bunch of people are currently doing another 24-hour live stream, so it'll be over by the time this episode comes out. But I'm thinking of you, Chelly, and everybody else doing the live stream. You guys are incredible.
Yeah.
And question number 1 is, what LARPs are you most looking forward to next year and why?
Woof. Let's get the calendar out, shall we?
I really want to try... Oh, sorry, you were going first, Bung.
Well, I'm looking forward to Millie because it's going to be interesting to see this at the very start. I mean, as with anything brand new, I'm assuming there's most likely going to be some teething problem. Anything on its first run is going to have issues.
Yeah.
You can always take the first run as basically, this is the practice dry run.
I think the cool thing about it is that they've actually, if you look at the dates, so they've got event 1 and 2, and then there's a reasonable gap actually until 3 and 4. I think that will actually work quite well in our favour.
It gives a chance to rework things that aren't quite working out after first events. That actually this doesn't work.
Yeah.
What can we do to fix it? So I'm quite looking forward to seeing how the game evolves.
Yeah, as am I.
I'm looking to see how Ian helps his part of the game evolve.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many LARPs coming up next year. I mean, I've been going to Empire for years. I mean, I'm looking forward to going back there and doing what we do. I mean, I really want to get along to more LARP. I mean, I'm really bummed I missed out on Flying Lead Nightmare.
Yeah.
So I really, really want to do some Wild West LARPs. I love
there's a couple of like Flying Lead one shots next year. Like there's the Probation.
Yeah,
Prohibition, that one. Not Probation. Just got out of prison.
I'd quite enjoy doing that Prohibition one. That'd be quite fun.
Yeah.
I think I'm looking forward to like Menhirs. Obviously, I think that's kind of nervous, excited, all of those kind of energy sort of vibes going into it. I think it's gonna be really exciting to be involved in, and just to see how the player base responds and how it evolves and all of that. On a player perspective, I really want to see if I can get on Hoist. I think Hoist would be really good fun.
Hoist is
good. I really want to do that. E1 as well. We left E4 on such a sort of a cliffhanger with so many things going on. So Empire E1 is something I'm very excited for. And then an attempt perhaps to try and get to some much more kind of nichey kind of LARPs, like something like Poets or something like that. I think this might not be the year. This might not be the year, which is gutting because but it'll come. There's some fun stuff as well. There's a really cool looking one called Violet Dreams that I'm kind of interested in, and there's a bunch of others as well. But it's just like trying to expand out what maybe I'm going to do next year beyond just Empire, and maybe trying to jostle around, maybe not do all of the events of Empire and do some other things. It's so challenging. Time is the main element. Like, money is a thing for sure, but like getting the time is and you know, factoring it around everything is not always easy.
I mean, there's like I said earlier, we're on that really fun little precipice where there's so many small scale LARPs coming out. There's so many large scale LARPs as well. So if I time this correctly, this will come out just before we do our raffle draw on the 1st of January. the weekend, so the first weekend of January, there's a really cool post-apocalyptic LARP called Ruined Future. That's going on. I can't go, annoyingly, but it's just nice. There's so many, like, if you can think about it now, there's probably a LARP about it.
I'm like stacked.
Yeah, like I was like, I did 22 LARPs this year, and I was like, maybe next year I'll slow down a little. I'm not slowing down. I'm doing more LARPs next year. I want to do more LARPs that kind of like push the boundaries. Like Eldritch and the Nightmare systems are so much fun. Eldritch is coming back, but as medieval Eldritch, which I'm very excited about. There's also like Divided We Fall. Post-apocalyptic one. There's Bastion. There's also Guards. Is it Guard? No, Free Company. At the end of the year, and also can't not mention it. Second Breakfast Nightmare.
Yeah, that sounds really fun.
Like, I want to dress up as a little hobbit and run around terrified in the woods.
I quite fancy NPCing that one, actually. That could be a lot of fun.
Oh my god, yes, you would be amazing.
I always get tempted by Gritlands as well.
That does look really cool. There's so many good ones. Dude, there's so
many good ones.
Yeah.
And like Wome as well. Yeah. I cannot, like, story continuation. I cannot wait for Wome. I'm really excited for Northern Kingdoms this year because I want to see what my downtime is going to be like, because I'm doing something sneaky.
Desperately want to go time and
yeah,
maybe
if you can, you should try and crew it. Like Tom, there's an unreleased episode. I can't decide. We need to decide which podcast I'm going out on. But I talked to Tom about his crew experience. So it's fun, and crewing Northern Kingdoms is a really good way of getting into it.
It's finding the time, and
the
tickets for these things go so quickly. And I am never as organised as you guys. Organisation turns out is actually really efficient.
Can I interest you in an executive PA? My rates are very reasonable. But yeah, I think Wome, Bastion, Northern Kingdoms, like the smaller scale LARPs with the more intense storylines and the more player-driven storylines, I'm very excited about. Yeah.
All right. And the last question.
And the final question.
Is one, why is Millie such a cutie? Well, I think we have well established that Millie has done an incredible job taking on the podcast, and you will take all the compliments, Millie, because we love you. And
you'll notice I'm not saying fuck off.
No.
So I'm accepting it.
Honestly, time. Like you have, like all the stuff you've done, actually, like, and it's like the way you've taken on the podcast, the way you've expanded it and grown it, but just the energy you've thrown into everything. And let's just be really honest, you're just a frankly awesome human being to hang around with. So lucky, so lucky that we all get to share like LARPing together. Like, isn't it amazing? Like, I think I
love our little LARPing family.
It's outrageous.
Like, and I say little, it's
actually pretty chunky.
A fucking enormous family.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
it just keeps growing.
And most of them are people that ask questions in this like a lovely little Q&A, which is not so little. It's 2.5 hours long currently. So yeah, like I love it. Like I said at the start of this podcast, the community is so lovely, and you guys let us be ourselves. So thank you so much to everybody who listens, interacts, comments, just lurks. You're all incredible human beings. You enable this little hobby that is the podcast, and you enable us to talk about it and to feel free to talk about it. So yeah, it's all down to you guys. I am only as cutie as I can be because of you guys. So thank you. Love you all.
Me too. We love you all.
Oh. Yep. Ugh, that's enough sentimentality. Ooh, gross.
Yeah.
I mean, is there anything other to say? I mean, we obviously have the.
I think
will the raffle have all been sorted by the end of?
So this episode will be coming out after all of our Oasis 2 episodes, which will hopefully be by the 28th.
Okay.
So I'm aiming to publish this on the 29th, then do the raffle draw on our Twitch channel at the LARP Noobs on the 1st of January.
Yeah.
I haven't decided on a time yet because I don't know how hungover I'm going to be, but we'll find out. Start 2025 as we mean to go on, incredibly hungover and regretting life decisions. But yeah, so that's it's all to play for. It's all very exciting. Like I said, we're currently hovering at just over £2,000. So thank you so much to everybody who's donated. You're all incredible. Thank you to our Patreons. I think this is one thing that I didn't talk about when Dave asked his question was the unknown cost of running a podcast. It is expensive, and it's amazing that we have people who are willing to help cover the cost to keep us going. So thank you so much to you guys. And in particular this week, thank you so much to Ian, who is our newest subscriber. So thank you so much, Ian. You're incredible. Ian took me aside at Empire one event, and gave me my swordsman lessons.
Yeah, Ian's awesome. He's really cool.
I'm
talking about a different Ian than me, by the way.
Yeah. No. This is not Ian Pitt.
No, he's Ian's lovely.
Yeah, wonderful human being. Also runs an excellent store in the market. Really good, wonderful human being. So thank you so much, and thank you for an amazing year.
Incredible.
We've had this podcast for a year.
Woo!
Woohoo! Actually, let's do a little rundown, shall we? So we have done in a year of podcasting. We have published. Pause for dramatic effect. Okay, 138. So we have published 40 episodes of the podcast, roughly.
Wow.
Which is pretty impressive. So 40 episodes in a year. Next year, let's see how many we can get to.
Don't burn yourselves out.
No, let's not double it.
2 a week.
No.
No, hugely impressive. It's you guys have taking it over and doing a thing. I can't be chuffed enough. It's so good.
It's also like it's not taking over; it's a collaboration. Because Ian, you're here almost every week.
I turn up occasionally.
Dave's here as well. Matty, we're just like a nice little community of people that talk about LARP.
I think the podcasting community actually in general, like all the different LARP creators and stuff. It's been lovely actually.
Collaborating with them and everything as well, and like a lot of them coming in and helping with the stream and that. Like especially we had Matty. And I think Chris popped in for a bit as well from Chat Song.
Yeah.
Also and the Larps and Tarps guys there for a bit.
Having to roll.
Yeah, to roll, Robin and Ollie. We had Heather and Mill.
Yeah.
And then like even the people that don't necessarily podcast. We had Joe come in. And it's just a wonderful, wonderful little community. So I love you guys. Yeah. And we're gonna say goodbye now. And goodbye 2024.
Thank you for letting us do what we love to do, and we hope to do more of it next year.
Yeah. Roll on 2025, baby.
Yeah.
Midlife crisis time.